Hey guys, it's Talia. I am 37 weeks and 4 days pregnant today. So, since my last video, it's been quite an eventful time. We've had, what is it? It's been 3 times now that I have gone to labor and delivery for like false alarms and stuff. So, we're thinking that, it's not going to be much longer before Cambria gets here. I'll start by going over like some of the notes that I wrote down for my 36 weeks video. So, for 36 weeks, I went to the doctor. Um, I went to the doctor. They're having me go every week now, just to check to see if everything's okay. So, for 36 weeks, I went in and they did the Group B strep test, and that came back negative, which is good. But while they were doing that test, which is like a swab test, they noticed I seemed to be like leaking some fluid. So they wanted me to get an ultrasound, just to make sure that my fluid levels were okay. On that ultrasound, they discovered that my fluid levels were on the low side. So that was the first time that I got sent to labor and delivery because I had been having to wear a pad because I felt like that fluid leaking kind of feeling lately. So I told them that, and they were just concerned. They just want to make sure that my water hadn't broken or anything, and so they sent me to labor and delivery. So I was in there for like an hour. They had to do a swab test to do, like, I think it's called amnisure, and it tests to see if any of the fluid is like amniotic fluid. All the tests that they did in labor and delivery, they came back negative for any like problems. So they were able to send me home that day, which I was happy about because I was kind of nervous. I was there by myself. I didn't have anything ready at home. Andrew was at home with Kellen. I didn't have any bags packed or anything like that. And I think that was on maybe like a Wednesday or Thursday. And then that weekend, on Sunday morning, um, I had woken up at 4 a.m. to like the worst contractions ever that I've had, like, this pregnancy. Obviously not the worst I've ever had, but they were the worst ones I've had in a long time. So I woke up and I just kind of sat around like trying to see what the time was like in between the really big contractions, and it just seemed like they never fully went away. Like it would be like really really bad, but then it would kind of dull out, but it would still feel like a contraction. And that went on until like 10:30 a.m. At that time, sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm like so out of breath lately. I cannot I cannot breathe anymore. It's really hard to talk for a long time. But I got in the bath. I took a really warm bath. I tried to sit in there. The contractions did not stop. I was just sitting in the bathtub. Had my little my app open to like measure the contractions, and it looked like they were about 4 to 5 minutes apart, lasting 1 minute 30 seconds approximately. And so at that point, I just told Andrew, like, okay, let's just pack some bags. Let's have Kellen's bag ready. I'm gonna call my mom. It's a weekend, so my mom was like off work, and I just was like, I want to go to labor and delivery and check to see like if everything's okay before we start the week, and things are a lot more difficult as far as like finding a place for Kellen to stay while I'm in the hospital. So we went ahead and did that. My mom came up here. She's about an hour away, and she came and stayed with Kellen while me and Andrew went to labor and delivery together. So we got there. He was like frantically trying to install the car seat in the back seat of our car, because we didn't have that ready yet, obviously. And he was trying to do that in the parking garage before we went into the hospital, and I was just like standing there like I have such bad contractions. But they were starting to feel like less intense once we got to the hospital, which I was like, of course it's gonna happen. So we got in there, we got checked in. We were in a room like where they do. It was the same kind of room like before, where they just do the evaluation and see if you need to be admitted to labor and delivery. So we sat in there. They came in and like checked me. I wasn't dilated yet, so they were telling me like it really doesn't seem like I'm in labor. I didn't have any like fluid at the time coming out, so they just measured my contractions and everything, and after a while they were saying that we could go home because it didn't seem like this was true labor. And they told me like, I know it's hard to tell because it can feel like really intense, but like when they start you'll know. And I'm just like, I've had a kid, I know what they feel like, but like they really did feel intense, but I guess there's room for them to be worse. So I went home. Then the next week I had my appointment for my 37 weeks. So this past week I had my 37-week appointment. I went in, they did another ultrasound. My fluids were low again, and I told them I've still been having like the leaking here and there. And so they wanted me to go down to labor and delivery again because they just want to make sure. And on the ultrasound, my fluids were still pretty low. So I did that. I went to labor and delivery. They checked me, and they said I could go home after a while. They had to do a few tests, and one of them took a really long time, so I was there for like at least a couple hours. But yeah, I got to go home again, and I was just like, that was a relief because I didn't want that to happen. It was like a Wednesday, I think, the middle of the week. I didn't have any of my work done. I'm currently training somebody at work who's gonna like do what I usually do while I'm on maternity leave. So I really wanted to be able to go to work the next day and get that done. The last time that I went to labor and delivery, they wanted me to come back on that Friday and get another ultrasound just to check my fluid levels and then also like talk to the doctor. So that was just yesterday. I went in and they did another ultrasound. Cammy wasn't moving around as much, so it took a really long time for them to get all the measurements that they needed. But eventually they got everything taken care of. They determined that my fluid levels are still on the low side, but they were higher than they were on Wednesday. So that was looking good. And then they just said, if I have any issues at all, like call the nurse line. If I notice like any kind of bloody discharge or anything like that, to just make sure that I let them know and see if I should come in. But luckily I haven't had anything like that yet. They did mention both at labor and delivery and at the appointment I had yesterday that if my fluid levels get any lower or like don't really improve, we might be looking at induction. So I don't know, I'm kind of thinking that might be best for our situation anyway, because then we can schedule it and we'll know exactly when that's going to happen, and then we can figure out where to have Kellen go for the time that we're at the hospital. So yeah, that's it for now. Like I said last time, I don't know if this is going to be my last pregnancy vlog because I just don't know. I've been in labor and delivery a few times already, and I do feel like I'm getting really close. I mean, I'm only like 2 weeks away. So if this is my last video, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has followed me through this pregnancy, and all of the supportive comments and messages have really been helpful and like kept me feeling optimistic about everything. So thank you for that. And I will go ahead and show you guys my 37 weeks belly. And when they did the ultrasound, they were telling me that her feet are right here. This is where her butt is, and then her head's like all the way down here. So she's really low right now. And she is in position to be born very soon. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you guys in my next update. If it's not a pregnancy update, then I will see you guys for my baby reveal, I guess. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.